Hi everyone, I'm Marla Miller from marlamiller.com, and I'm presenting Critique My Query, which is a video column that we've been offering at the Writer Magazine for a while now. You send your query letter to my email below. In the email, no files, please, and then I'll eventually read it. If you haven't heard from me in a while, shoot me an email, and I'll update you on the status of your turn in line because I have a list. Okay, here we go. I am currently seeking representation for my novel For the Common Good. It is a comical and touching story written for working adults who long to do something meaningful. Have you ever worked in a dead-end job and longed for something better? Have you experienced the excitement of getting the opportunity of a lifetime? Isn't it disappointing when reality doesn't quite match the dream? Meet Samantha Lutz, a typical wife and mother in her late 30s, approaching her midlife crisis, desperately in need of change. While working at a dull, meaningless, dead-end job, Sam longs to do something meaningful, where she can make a difference, where she can be somebody. While surfing the internet at work on one fateful day, Sam stumbles across an ad for a job where she could make more money than she's ever made in her entire life, $14 an hour. Overnight, Sam finds herself working for the U.S. federal government behind the scenes. Follow along in Sam's quest to make a difference and join her struggle to determine if she and her colleagues are in it for the common good or the common greed. This is a story of tragedy, greed, lust, drunkenness, incompetence, idiocy, and other enjoyable topics that will make the reader laugh hysterically. Follow along with Sam on her quest for excellence in an environment of chaos and lunacy. If you enjoy watching the spectacle of The Office, just wait until you read what happens at the agency. For the Common Good is 77 plus thousand words and my first novel. With a master's degree in public administration, I have extensive knowledge of how government organizations are supposed to be in theory. My observations and experiences have shown me how organizations are in reality. My imagination and sense of humor are the tools used to craft a novel that is fun to read. Okay, I'd be delighted to send you For the Common Good for your review and would look forward to speaking with you in greater detail. A partial or full manuscript is available upon request. Thank you. Okay, so what do I think of For the Common Good? Well, first of all, I want you all to take a look at that letter, because the hook of that letter doesn't start until paragraph 3. Essentially, the first two paragraphs say exactly the same thing. So they're just, variations of the same. So the one that when I got intrigued was when I meet the protagonist, okay? And I'm ready to be hooked by whatever tale this protagonist is going to tell me in a compressed form in a query letter. Okay, so this is what I want to say about this query letter. It's not ready because I don't know what this story is about. I know that this story is supposed to be comical. In fact, he or she says it, I think, at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I circled them. 6 different times this writer says that it's going to be funny, hysterical, fun to read. And here's just a heads up to all of you. When you're writing a query letter about a story that's funny, that query letter better make me smile or laugh, right? So you show, don't tell. Always, always, always. Especially in the query letter, which is why they're so tough to write. So this writer has mentioned many times that this is a funny, hysterical romp a la The Office, and I don't see it here. I actually don't really see what this story is about. I'm sorry to have to say that, but I get an overview. I know that we've got someone who's frustrated and wants to, do something different with their life, and is approaching a midlife crisis, although someone in their 30s has got a little ways to go before they're in a midlife crisis. But nonetheless, so I know that this protagonist, Samantha, is going to work for a federal government agency and make more money than she's ever made, which is another point that I want to make. This writer talks about Sam, finally getting a job where she's making a lot of money, and also says that one of the themes of this story is greed, but then says that Sam is making $14 an hour, which is more money than she's ever made. So I don't want to be, I don't want to make anyone think that $14 an hour isn't, you know, a decent wage, but it certainly isn't going to make you rich. And so when this writer said that they were surfing the internet and found this job, I was expecting something like really sweet, you know, like high paying. So $14 an hour kind of threw me. That was a speed bump for me. The other speed bumps are the many times that this writer says this is going to be funny, and I never smiled through the query letter. And then the last speed bump, and then I'll shut up, is that I don't know what this story is about. I have no doubt that this writer can tell it. This letter is written quite well, you know, for a letter, but it's not a query letter yet, because I have no sense of what For the Common Good is going to be about, other than this woman approaching a midlife crisis who gets into this group that is kind of wacky, and they drink a lot, and greed is involved, but I don't see it in the story, in any of the storyline that she has offered here, because there really isn't much of a storyline here. What this writer has done is summarized what this story is going to be about, and then asked the agent to, you know, read it, and it's probably not going to happen. So I think that this writer needs to go back to the drawing board, and I welcome them to resubmit For the Common Good, and I hope that this was helpful. I know it wasn't the best news, but writing is rewriting, especially when it comes to query, folks. I think we all know that by now, don't we? Be well, keep writing.